Good evening and welcome to Beginner's Yoga. It is Wednesday, June 17th in the year 2020. Coming at you live from the Hatha Yoga Center in Seattle, Washington. I'm Chris. And if you're joining in tonight and you have anything you'd like me to work on, you can drop a comment in the comment stream. So tonight let's start in a seated position, and that could be on the floor or on a chair. If you have a firm chair that you could sit on, that would work, or like sitting up on a cushion or a block might be helpful. And I'm sitting cross-legged, but you could also sit in another position. The main goal is to find your long spine, long neutral spine, and your free and deep breathing. So, not rounding forward, but sitting up tall, lifting up through the crown of the head, feeling your head balanced on top of your shoulders, so there's no strain in your neck. And you could close your eyes for a moment and just bring yourself into the awareness of your breath, inhaling and exhaling through your nose. Feeling the sensation of the breath coming in through your nose and coming down into your lungs and inflating your lungs, which causes the rib cage to expand. And exhaling, and you'll feel a little contraction around the rib cage as you do that. You might also bring your attention to your belly. You could even take one hand and put it on your belly. And as you inhale, feel the belly move, feel it expand into your hand a bit, and as you exhale, you might feel your belly draw in a little bit to help push the air out. So taking a few breaths with this awareness of the movement of the chest and the belly. Letting the breath be smooth and complete. Feeling any resistance you have to the breath, which could be around the rib cage, so kind of softening into the breath. And then if your eyes are closed, you could open your eyes and just sweep your arms up and look up, reaching up. Reaching more from your torso, like from your lats, rather than reaching from the neck and shoulders. Keeping your breath smooth. And then we'll take a twist. Bring your right hand to your left knee if you're sitting cross-legged, or actually if you're sitting in a chair, you can do that too. So make it an easy twist. So not a lot of strain anywhere, just an easy twist. Let your breath be full. Keep the shoulders relaxed, and then swing the arms up and over and come to the other side. So maybe you're not pulling yourself at all, it's just a movement with the breath. So the breath is unrestricted in the twist even. And then one more time to each side. Arms up and over, breathing deeply. And then to the other side. Noticing the tendency to want to pull yourself further into the twist. Instead, just relax into it and breathe a little more deeply. And then bring the hands back to center, and you could do a little seated cat-cow round the spine. Let your chin drop towards the chest. And then bring the chest forward, arching your back. You could let the neck extend a little bit, just moving through cat-cow like that. Exhale as you round back. Inhale as you come forward. Maybe letting the movement be fluid with your breath, so you're not jerky, you're just kind of like flowing through. And then coming back to center. Let's do one side stretch, bringing your left hand down by your side and reaching up, looking up underneath your arm. You can bring your left hand as far away as feels good. So you're stretching into the right side of your rib cage, and then you could just circle your arm over, your right hand over to the other side, and bring the left arm up, keeping the neck long. The right hand can come over as far as you like, just keeping your left sit bone kind of pinned down. And then coming back up, and let's actually come onto our back now. I'm going to bring this camera up a little higher. Come onto your back and bend your knees, and bring the soles of your feet to the floor, and let's come up and down through bridge a few times. So your feet are hip width. You can just bring the arms down by your sides with your palms facing open. Press into the heels, lift up, lift the pelvis up. Keep your natural curve under your neck, and then just roll down, feeling your spine kind of unfurling, and go up and down a couple times. It's kind of a cat-cow type movement also. And the next time your hips come down, let's do it with the arms coming up. So bring your arms up as you lift your hips, bring your arms up and over your head this time, and just pause there. Relax your shoulders. Bringing the backs of your hands to the floor, just staying up for a couple breaths. Untuck your chin a little. And then just slowly roll down. You can bring your hands back down. And let's bring the legs and arms up for a moment and just kind of shake them. So you're kind of rotating the femur bones and the heads of the humerus. Shake your hands. And then let's bring your left foot down to the floor, bend your left knee. Keep your right leg extended. You can bring your arms down by your sides. Turning your toes out, just exhale, bring your heel towards the floor and hover. And exhale all the air out and kind of scoop up underneath your rib cage. So you're finding Uddiyana Bandha, or your diaphragm is lifting. And just hold the heel out and then inhale it back up. Now let's do it again. Press your tailbone towards the floor. Exhale all the air out, even through your mouth, sucking up under the rib cage, finding this diaphragm lift. Lengthening through your belly, you're pressing out through the heel. Heel is hovering over the floor. Inhale back up. Let's do it one more time. Exhale. Lift the diaphragm. Inhale back up. And then draw that knee in towards the chest. And just circle it around with your hands on the knee. Or maybe your right hand on the knee, making circles. And then switching the direction of the circles. And then you could bring your hands down by your sides and lift that leg up and make circles with your ankle joint. So try to do it as fluidly as you can. You can move your toes and then switch the direction of those circles, trying to play with the range of motion you have in this way. So seeing how you can move your ankle joint. And then you could flex that foot and press through the heel. And then point your toe. Do that a couple times, flex and point. And then draw your knee back in. And then we'll switch. So we'll bring the sole of the right foot to the floor and bring your left foot up, turn your toes out. We're gonna inhale and then exhale all the air out, maybe through your mouth. Diaphragm lifts as you hover your heel above the floor. Release that, inhale the foot back up. Exhale, Lift your diaphragm. Release and inhale back up one last time. Exhale. Pressing out through the heel, diaphragm lifts. Inhale back up. And draw your knee in towards your chest. And then you can start to make circles, circling the hip around. Breathing as you do that, let it just be comfortable. Maybe circling in the opposite direction. Keeping the sacrum pinned to the floor. And then extending your left leg up, your hands down by your sides, palms facing open, circling your ankle joint in one direction. Move your toes. Noticing if one foot you're better at controlling than the other. You might have a little more motor control on your dominant side. Switching and circling in the other direction, moving your toes. And then maybe stop and flex your foot and point the toe. You don't do a ton of toe pointing in yoga. And then flex and point. You might feel some crampiness in your arch. And then draw that knee back in. And draw the other knee in. And then let's bring the sole of the left foot to the floor. You could bring your right leg up again and start making circles with that leg. Just make them, maybe start small and make them a little bigger. If you feel any clicking or popping in the joint, just back off until you can't feel it anymore. And engage in your belly. So you're keeping sacrum on the floor, switching directions. And then draw that knee in. And we'll switch. Bring the sole of your right foot to the floor, bring your left foot up, arms by your sides, circling. So you're moving the femur in the pelvis. You're circling it around. Your pelvis is pretty stable. You're keeping your sacrum pinned to the floor. And then switch directions. Try to relax your upper body. Feel how your belly controls a lot of that movement. And then draw the knees in. Rocking a little bit from side to side. And then let's do some things with a strap. Or if you can reach for your foot, that works too. But bringing the strap underneath the ball of your right foot and flexing your foot. And just drawing your leg back, but keeping the neutral alignment of the spine. So you're not bringing your leg back at the expense of rounding your low back or lifting your tailbone up off the floor. So keep it pressed down and allow the strap to be helping you to keep your shoulders kind of relaxed. So your upper back can stay on the floor as well. And then you could straighten your left leg. Taking another breath there into the back of the leg, flexing your foot. And then maybe bringing your right leg out towards the side so that you're feeling a big stretch in your inner thigh muscles. Still kind of lengthening the hip down so the right side of your torso stays long. It's not contracting. Almost like you're tucking your hip under. And then bringing the leg back up. Keep your sacrum on the floor as you bring it over your body until you can't bring it over any further without lifting. Just pause there. Breathing into the side of your leg, and then maybe it comes over further. The leg comes over and the sacrum lifts, keeping your shoulder on the floor. And you might take your thumb into that hip and just draw it down, lengthening. If you feel pinching in your groin as you bring the leg over, just back off a little, engage a little bit. We're not trying to get that pinching happening. And then bringing that leg back up, and just pause for a moment, drawing the foot back. Maybe it feels like it can come back a little further. And then bring your other leg up into the strap and just pause for a moment. You're in basically a forward bend on your back. And then take the right leg out. You might start with the right knee bent, the sole of the right foot on the floor. Finding your nice steady breathing. Relaxing your upper back and shoulders. Noticing how each leg is a little different in its mobility and flexibility and so on. You could extend your right leg. Keep pressing your tailbone back towards the floor, so no rounding in the low back. And then you could take that strap into the left hand and take your left leg out to your left side, feeling the stretch up the inner left thigh and into the groin muscles, and keep flexing your foot. You could bring your right arm out to the side for counterbalance, breathing. And then bringing the foot back up to center, grabbing the strap with the right hand. You can bring your left arm out for counterbalance, and then just bring the foot over until you can't bring it over anymore without lifting sacrum. Pause. You could draw that left hip down. And then maybe you're coming over, now the sacrum's picking up, and you're coming into the twist, keeping shoulders on the floor. So the foot might not come all the way down. Everybody is different. Feel the breath coming in and out through your nose, and the movement of your rib cage. And one more breath there, and then letting that foot come back up to center, and just pause for a moment, drawing the leg back towards your chest. And then releasing the strap. Actually, let's do this, put both feet in the strap one time for a moment. Now your legs have both been kind of stretched out a little. So keeping your tailbone on the floor, you might pull both feet kind of back. So you're in a forward bend on your back. And then release that. Let your strap come up to the side. We're going to use a ball to do some core work, and to roll on as well tonight, but start with the ball underneath your sacrum. Coming into a supported bridge pose, and you could do a little tip and tuck of your pelvis, so just moving the pelvis. And then pressing tailbone into the ball. You can bring your legs up, arms out to the sides, starting with one leg at a time to begin with. Pressing tailbone into the ball. Inhale the leg down and exhale back up. And then you can switch and come to two legs together. So heels together, toes slightly apart, both legs come down. Inhale down, press tailbone in, exhale back up. Feel your belly lengthening, and also feel your navel drawing towards your spine. Moving with the breath. say 2 more times. Maybe this last time, pause for a moment and press out through your heels. Let them hover. And then maybe let them come all the way down so you're draped over the ball. Take a couple breaths there. And we'll come back to the ball. You can walk your feet in. We'll do a lot of ball work at the end, but let's come back, take the ball out, and come back and let's do one more core, well, actually 2 more. Let's start with the legs up. Press your tailbone down and just let your feet go side to side so the legs are straight up and down. They're not coming back towards your chest at all. So you're in a 90-degree position. Go slowly, moving the legs with your belly muscles and your muscles of your core, keeping the shoulders relaxed. Just going side to side. You start to feel a little warm in your belly. And then draw the knees in towards the chest. And then let's try one more on the back here. So bring arms and legs straight up. And then you're going to exhale your left foot and your right arm back and up. And then do the other side. So right foot and the back of the left hand come to the floor. And just go like that. With the opposite leg and arm. And you're breathing as you do that, keeping that neutral alignment of the spine. Maybe starting to get tired, so just go a couple more times. Opposite arm and leg. And then draw the knees in and rock a little bit. You could lift your head up and draw your forehead towards your knees, making yourself into a little ball. Bring your hands back too and stretch the back of your neck a little bit, rounding intentionally. And then release and roll onto your side. Let's come to hands and knees. So spreading your hands underneath your shoulders. And let's just do a little cat-cow round spine. Exhale. Tipping and inhale. Moving through cat and cow. And one more time through. And then walk your knees back, come into prayer pose. Lengthening your spine, bringing your forehead down, decompressing your lower back, breathing. And then set yourself up for down dog. So spread the hands, wrap the elbows in, tuck your toes, lift your tail. Coming into downward facing dog, and we'll just bend into one knee and the other. Kind of keeping the neck neutral. And you could press into your hands and then let your knees dip towards the floor. Maybe not even touching the floor, but almost. And then lift your hips again. Do that a couple times. They might not come all the way down, but... And of course you might not be able to straighten your legs all the way, but just moving a little bit, and then just pausing. And then let's bring the knees down again. And let's bring your right leg out to the side and press the sole of your foot. Your toes are pointing straight forward, the sole of the foot is pressed into the floor, and then just open up into a twist, so you're stacking your shoulders, your upper body is opening, reaching, lengthening up, and then bringing the hand back down, stepping your right foot in. Let's step the left foot out to the side, and lift up your left arm, stacking the shoulders. The head comes back, you can look up or straight ahead. Just keep the neck long. Reaching. And then bringing the hand down, stepping your foot back in. Come back to prayer for a moment. Walk your hands over towards the left, reaching your right hip back. Breathing into the right side of your torso, rib cage, and waistline. And then walking hands over towards the right, reaching back with the left hip. Letting your head relax. And then walking hands back to center. And then walk your hands back in. You could tuck your toes for a moment, stretch into the bottoms of the feet. As you're doing that, you could also stretch your wrists, turn your fingertips back. Keeping the head lifted, breathing. And releasing that. And then let's come up onto our knees. You can bring your hands back to your sacrum and lift the heart, come into camel pose, pressing your hands into your lower back as you lift up. So you're not coming back too far. It's more like a lengthening of the spine. The neck could just be part of that. So keep your neck tucked, or you can just have a gentle curve in your neck. And release it. Just pause for a moment. And then coming back up one more time. This time you might clasp your hands, coming into camel. It's a little bit harder without the support. So lengthening up. Again, you're grounding your sacrum and lifting pubic bone, lifting sternum, lifting your gaze. And then release your hands. Let's step the right foot forward. And we'll come into a lunge. You could bring that foot forward and maybe bring your hands down to the floor. So it's a little deeper type of lunge, but your head and shoulders are lifted. So that could be with your hands on the knee if you can't touch the floor without rounding. Nice steady breath. And then perhaps you could bring the sole of your foot back towards you a little so that you can stretch into the back of the lower leg and the ankle. Your heel can stay on the floor, you can let it lift, but just feeling that stretch in the Achilles and your ankle joint. Nice steady breath, and then release that. Let's take a little twist. So you might walk the foot forward again. So you could bring your left hand down and just open up into the twist, reaching up. So getting some lift out of the floor, out of gravity. Maybe you could reach for your foot, your back foot. So there's a little help to pull you into the twist. And then let go of the foot. And release that. And let's step back up to downward dog. So spread your hands, wrap the elbows in, shoulders slide, lifting your tail. Let's step the right foot up and over the left. Bring the sole of your right foot to the floor. And lifting your right hip, breathing. And then stepping back through center, step your left foot up and over the right, lifting left hip. Reaching through your hands and wrapping the elbows in. So really strong in your shoulders. And stepping back to center. And then we'll bring the knees down. And let's come up and do another camel. Your choice. You could bring hands to sacrum or clasp your hands. Lifting the heart. So feel your belly drawing in and lengthening. And then release it, and let's step the left foot forward. Coming a little deeper into this lunge, bringing the fingertips down, keeping head and shoulders lifted. And again, could be hands on the knee if you need to keep yourself from rounding. Nice steady breath, Ujjayi breathing, so closing off the back of the throat just a little bit so that you can keep track of your breath, that it can be a focus for you to come back to. And then bringing your left foot back just a little bit and the knee forward to stretch into the back of the left lower leg, as long as that's safe for your knee. Generally, we want to avoid doing things that cause knee pain. And there might be stretching in your knee, or even just a tiny bit of twisting. There's a little bit of twist in the knee, not much, but we're not feeling pain or doing any harm to our knees. So then bringing yourself back, bringing that foot forward again, and then opening up into the twist. So kind of knowing the different ways that your body experiences discomfort versus pain. And learning what is the safe kind of discomfort that we want to breathe into and stay with, and what is not healthy and productive. You might reach for your foot. If you can. If you can't, that's okay. If you can't reach it, it's okay. And then release the foot. Bring your hand back down and step back to downward facing dog. So the general way to know if discomfort is moving into the not good kind of discomfort is by your breath. So exhale, come forward into plank, keeping your head lifted as you come forward, and just pause right now, lifting belly. And then the knees could come down and come all the way down onto your belly, bringing your arms forward for Sphinx pose. So if you experience any holding of the breath, or you feel like you can't take a deep breath, just back off and find your steady breath. So just a couple more breaths here in your Sphinx pose. And then you could kind of walk your elbows forward and maybe bringing your thumbs underneath your chin, or your hands if that feels okay. Just coming into a little extension of your neck, stretching the front of the throat a bit, the muscles of the chin. Massage it a little. And then release your hands. Let your hands sweep back and clasp your hands at your sacrum, lifting your toes. And coming up into locust pose. Breathing. Keep your neck long, keep it steady, the breath, the gaze. Maybe try lifting your belly a little. And then just release. You could rock a little bit, side to side. And then you could bring your arms forward. And then maybe your thumbs pointing up. Just try lifting your left leg and your right arm. And then switch. Right leg and left arm. Keep your left leg relaxed as you do that though, so you're not pushing into the floor with it. And then go side to side. Like you're making kind kind of almost a swimming movement. And release, rocking the hips a little. You could even bring your feet up and let your feet go side to side. Actually, bring your knees kind of wide apart and move. This is weird, but try to do that with your knees a little wider. You can even like circle your feet around. And then bring them closer and circle. And then let's bring the hands under the shoulders, tuck your elbows in, and lift up. Come back to downward facing dog. And actually make your feet wide in down dog. Just see what it feels like. You can make your arms wide too. Just like a little bit wider version. And then walk your hands in close and your feet in close. Just bring your feet side by side, maybe touching the thumbs together. So you're in a narrow base. And then just move yourself into the place where you feel most comfortable in your downward facing dog, which is probably somewhere in between. And then bring your knees down and come into prayer. And take a couple breaths. You could bring your hands back and clasp your hands. You could even walk your head back and kind of come to the top of your head and bring your arms up. Just be careful, you don't have to put a lot of weight into your head. And release, then coming back. Maybe come to child's pose, release your hands. And then bringing yourself up, let's come into a wide-legged forward bend. So we'll step sideways on the mat and hinging forward at the hip. You can have a block handy if you need one. Bringing your hands forward and then bending into one knee and the other. Letting your elbows and the shoulders relax. Just kind of moving from one side to the other. And then you could try, as you bend into your right knee, you could bring your left arm over and take a little twist. And then bring the hand back over towards the left foot and twist to the other side. So you could move through a few of those. So you're bending right knee, bringing left hand to the floor. Then bend your left knee. And then come back to center. And take your forward bend. You could walk your hands back. Tip the tail up. So the palms are on the floor. Let your head be, you could even like nod your head, yes. Shake your head, no. Maybe pick your hands up and traction into the neck a little bit. If that feels good. And then release your hands. Maybe you're clasping your hands and stretching up and over. Turn a little side to side. And release the hands. And walk your hands over towards your left ankle. Let your head relax. Keep drawing your right hip back, tipping tail. Support your head if you can with your arm. And then walking your hands through center and over towards the other lower leg or ankle, maybe the foot. Letting your head relax, drawing your left hip back. And then walking your hands back to center. And turn your toes out on the right foot and bend into the knee So the toes of your left foot are straight ahead. Keep that foot on the floor as you come into this deeper lunge on the right side. Maybe pressing your right elbow into the knee. You could come to your forearm or stay up on your hands. So feeling a big stretch up the inner left thigh into the groin, and keeping your spine long, so not rounding to get to the floor. You can stay up on your hands if you need to. And then moving back over to the other foot, you might turn the left toes out a little bit. You're really kind of reaching your sit bones back, so you're not coming too far forward. Keeping spine long, feeling that stretch. Breathing, nice steady breath. And then coming back up to center. And let's come into frog pose. So bringing your knees wide, maybe the feet together, maybe forearms to the floor. Try not to make fists, just let your hands relax. Keeping the spine long. Paying attention to your head here, that it doesn't drop forward. Strain, no strain in your neck. Feeling that big stretch in your inner thighs. Feel that you can still have a little movement of the pelvis, so you're not just stuck there. There's a little bit of ability to tip your pelvis or tuck it, even if it's subtle. And then maybe your feet come so that the soles of your feet are flexed. You're still in frog pose, but a little different variation. You could kind of press the ankles into the floor and release. And you can also kind of draw your knees towards each other and release. One more time. And then just come forward onto your belly. And you can bend the knees and let your feet go side to side. Maybe circling your feet around. And then let's come back up. Let's do a couple more standing things. Just coming into your standing mountain pose. So pressing into the floor with the soles of your feet, spreading your toes, lengthening up, opening the front of your chest, and then letting the arms come up, and lifting your gaze, grounding through your sacrum, lifting through pubic bone and lifting through your sternum. And then exhale, come forward, hinging forward at the hip. Coming into your forward bend, you can bend your knees quite a bit. And just staying there for a couple breaths. Keeping your long spine, which means lifting up through the shoulders and the head. You're not rounding forward, and also through your tail. Try to let your breath be pretty full. And then let's come back up. Let's do it one more time. Just reach up. So really ground your sacrum and lengthen up. And then come forward again. Keeping your neck long, breathing. If you're coming further forward, it's with this long spine. And then from there, bend your knees and make your feet wider. We're going to come into a squat. So if you need to lift the heels to do that, it's okay. So coming into your squat And see if you can let your seat drop as you lift up in the middle of your back, lengthening up. Be able to press your knees apart. Just taking a couple breaths there. And then you could let your seat come down as gracefully as possible. Bring your feet forward. You could round your back. Let your head drop. Widening your upper back. And then let your knees come out to the side and sit up. So this is cobbler pose. And you can take different positions with your feet. You could take your hands and try to kind of open the feet like a book. Or you could also bring your fingers under and interlace them, and then press your knees apart. But sit up tall. Feel how your knees are opening towards the floor. So maybe you can allow gravity to help a little bit more. And then maybe release the feet and just, you could come into a rounded back, just do it intentionally. So maybe draw the belly in. And then come back up. Pause for a moment. And let's draw your right knee in, extend your left leg. And sit up tall. And then we'll take a twist, so wrapping your left arm around the right knee, reaching your right hand back. And again, move with your breath, so it's tempting to try to really crank on your knee, but maybe instead really feel it in the like in the muscles of your belly, and feel it in how the spine is moving, even with the breath. So feeling the spiral of your spine as it spirals up. And then unwinding and facing forward again, letting your right knee drop out to the side. The sole of the foot is pressed into the thigh. And of course you have a strap, or you may have a strap. You could bring under the sole of your foot. Letting this knee open. So if you need to prop it with a cushion or to be more comfortable, by all means, please do. And then either with strap or just bringing your hands to the floor or to your foot. There's just a little bit of a twist, just a little bit as you move over that left leg. And of course, a forward bend. So staying with your breath and the length in your spine. Nice steady breath. And then walking yourself back up. And let's just take an easy twist here. So left hand to the right knee. And then untwist and lean over towards your right and bend your left knee. And then take a twist like that. It's okay to come forward, but be careful if you're coming forward. That's a lot of torque on your low back. Might feel good for some people. For me, it's a little too much. For me, if I stay up, I also get like a stretch on the right rib cage, which feels kind of good. And then unwind. And up, bring your knees up. You could bring your hands back behind you. Maybe your fingers are turned out to the sides or fingertips pointing back. Bring your feet kind of wide and just let your knees drop side to side here. And then the next time, let's straighten right leg and we'll open. Actually, we need to do our twist first. So sit up and your left knee is bent, sole of your left foot to the floor, and we'll take the twist here. So wrapping your right arm and breathe yourself in. So feeling length in your spine, lengthening up from the tailbone all the way up as you're turning your spine, all the way up through the crown of the head. Let your right shoulder be released, even though you're grabbing your knee, trying to hike that shoulder up. Nice steady breath. And then we'll turn back to face the front and let your left knee drop out to the side. You might have your strap handy. Maybe you're using your strap, or maybe reaching for the foot, just coming forward. Keeping your shoulders and your head lifted, so you're not just dropping into it. There's the same length in the spine, and the tailbone's reaching out behind you. And the breath is steady. It's a deceptive pose because it looks so easy, but there's a lot going on in this pose. So just take it easy. And then we'll come back up and take a little twist, bringing right hand to left knee. And then unwind and bend your little right knee and twist in that way. I'm going to stay up on my hands. Some people like to come down. Again, a little careful with your low back there. There's a lot of pull in this twisted position. So make it feel good, like you're not trying to pull yourself out of alignment in your spine. You're just feeling the twist in the muscles and with your breath. And then turning, coming out of the twist. And again, just letting the knees go side to side. Maybe the hands come back behind you. You could go really slow. Try to lift one leg. One of the problems with using your phone as a camera is that sometimes you get phone calls. That was my mom calling. I'm just going back through that one time. And then let's go to the bar, or to, if you have a countertop that you're using, or the back of your sofa or something like that. Let's go do just a couple of things there. So I'm just going to come up and find something that you can rest your hands on. If it's a chair that you can grab, that's nice too, but come into a forward bend. So resting your hands on that surface and lengthening back. You can bend your knees a little bit. Breathing, keeping the head kind of neck framed in between the arms if you can. It's okay to bend the knees, or you can straighten the legs. And then you could walk closer and bring your elbows up onto that surface, maybe pressing your fingertips together and your palms apart. And breathing. Move the hips a little. And just one more breath there, and then we'll release that. let's do a pigeon pose. So this could be on a chair or on a countertop. I'm going to use my mat just because I'm a little sensitive to my bones poking onto the wood. So you're going to stand on your left foot and bring your right leg up onto this chosen thing you've chosen, which could be, once again, like a countertop. You can also do this on the floor. So if you feel like this isn't going to work in your house, come into pigeon, down on the floor. But sometimes it's nice to do it. You can even do it on your couch. To do it standing. So feel how this right hip, if you're not at the right height, it could be kind of uncomfortable. So see if you can find a place where you can keep your hips level. Of course, no problems with the knee here. And you're breathing, keeping your neck long, shoulders relaxed, neutral spine. Just another breath or two. And then maybe you could take a little twist. You could just bring your hand back towards your sacrum and just open your chest. So if you're on the floor, you know how to do that. If you're standing up, just bringing right hand back to your sacrum and just kind of opening the chest and unwinding. And then we'll come to the other side. So we'll stand on the right leg, bring the left leg up. And of course, this could be on the floor, pigeon pose. Just a couple different options. So finding your spot and your steady breath. Shoulders relaxing. Still that feeling of grounding in your sacrum and lengthening up the front of your body so your heart's lifted. If you're standing, that is. Feeling yourself grounded in your standing foot. Feeling that external rotation of your left hip. And then twisting, so maybe bringing your left hand into your sacrum and looking back over your left shoulder. Or if you're on the floor, you know how to take a twist, bringing the left hand back to the sacrum, maybe the right forearm onto the floor in front of you. And releasing. And stepping off that surface. And then let's do a few more stretches with this surface. So we'll stand on the left foot and bring the right foot up onto the back of your couch again, or your countertop. And we'll just come forward, hinging forward. So you could even take this thumb here and just feel for this hip, kind of drawing that hip down. And there's no straining to get forward because it doesn't really matter how far forward we go. We're just working with our breath and our long spine. Watching your foot, so it's easy to kind of let that foot just kind of do what it wants, but see if you can kind of keep the toes lengthening up and flexing your foot. And then we'll come back out of any forward bending and come into the twist. So maybe your palms are facing open. The head is balanced on top of the shoulders. You're opening your chest, really strong in your standing leg. And breathing. And then slowly releasing the twist. Then we'll bring our foot forward, our right foot forward. Toes stay pointing up. Your left foot toes point straight ahead and take a little side stretch. I like to bring my upper arm into my thigh, and then bring my left arm up and over, turning my palm towards the back. Watch for the head to drop. Just keep the neck long, breathing. Feeling the stretch all the way up the left side of your body, maybe rolling your chest open. And then slowly releasing. And we'll step out and stand on the opposite foot. Step beyond right foot, lifting left leg up. Toes are pointing up. And the toes of your right foot are pointing pretty much straight ahead. You can also bring your hands back if that helps to keep you from rounding. Maybe some forward action, but it's a hinge at the hip, so the head stays lifted. You're breathing. And then we'll come back up. And we'll reach forward, take a twist. I like to just keep my arms open, palms facing upward. This lower body is staying right where it is as your upper body twists. Left shoulder is sliding, so no hunching in your shoulders. And the spine is turning, and you're breathing. And then unwinding, and we'll bring the left foot forward, maybe onto your back of your couch or your whatever that surface is. And maybe your arm tucks into the knee or into the thigh, reaching your right arm up. And feeling the stretch all the way up the right side of your body, through your waistline, your rib cage, turning your right palm back, keeping neck long, breathing. And then stepping off the bar or whatever you're up on, coming into your forward bend again. Breathing. And then let's come down, and we will use the wall for a few poses. So probably bringing yourself up to a wall where you can have a little space. Hopefully you have a spot like that in your house. So the left hip comes up, and then you're just going to lift the legs to begin with. Straight up. You can bring your arms up and over. And just take some breaths there. Breathing. Letting your legs be up the wall. You could also, if you don't have a wall spot, you could maybe do it on the back of a couch, or letting yourself kind of rest back. So feel your back kind of softening back into the floor. You could bring your arms down, and then maybe bringing your legs wide, so you're in kind of a straddle position. It helps if you're right up against the wall for that. And just taking a few breaths there. So feel how the lower back could roll up, but instead kind of keep it neutral. So press the tailbone back towards the floor, just like we do when we're in a seated, wide-legged forward bend. We're not trying to round in our back, and the floor helps you to find that. Just another breath or two. And then you might assist yourself by bringing your hands under the knees and just bring your feet into cobbler pose like we did before, so bending your knees. And you might might be able to press into the thighs and kind of traction your spine a little bit. Pushing your knees towards the wall. If that doesn't feel safe, don't do it. But for me, it feels pretty good. And it gives me a little length in my spine. Kind of scooping up your belly. And then you could bend the knees, bring them in. Maybe just feel what a squat on the wall feels like. So you might sort of support your knees with your hands. And it's sort of interesting to be on your back in a squat like that. And then draw the knees together and roll onto your side. And let's have a little ball rolling to close tonight. So if you have a ball, which I hope you all do by now, which would be one of these, probably one of these children's basketballs. They come in different sizes. So, and also you can make it firmer, of course, by putting more air in it. So bringing the ball under your spine, you can support your head with your hands, and just rolling up and down. Maybe coming into like this supported, or into this bridge pose with the ball under your shoulders. Lifting your hips, letting the ball kind of press into the shoulders. Yeah, and you could also bring the arms up and over if the head can come back. And then there's fish over a ball, which I would recommend having a pillow under your head, but you bring the ball kind of under by where the bottom part of your scapula is. So you're bringing it into the middle of your back, your thoracic spine, and draping over, but support the head again. So if the head doesn't come easily to the floor, just stick a couple pillows, or you can just support your head with your hands. Breathing. And then when you've had enough of that, you could bring the ball lower into your hips, into the outer hips. You can do that like this, or you can drape your body back on the floor, but rolling into the rotator muscles, which is very sensational, probably. And maybe getting into the glutes a little bit, into some parts of your low back on one side. Just breathing. Feel ready, you can switch to the other side. You might notice that one side needs it more than the other, so taking your own time to get what you need. And of course, you're controlling a little bit how much of your weight of your body giving over to the ball, so the hands help control that. And then when you feel evened out, before we come into Shavasana, let's bring ourselves onto our back and bring the ball underneath your head. And just let your head rest into the ball. You can turn your head from side to side. And just breathing, letting your breath come into a very relaxed, calm state. And ready, you can take the ball out and just come back onto your back for your final resting pose. If there's any last movements that your body needs, a twist or any kind of final movements, taking those and then bringing yourself into your Shavasana, corpse pose on your back, letting your palms be open, making yourself comfortable. So if you need any support under the neck, or if you need to cover your eyes or put on a sweatshirt or a blanket, just taking your time, bringing yourself back into this resting pose and allowing yourself to surrender. So staying on your back and feeling the breath, letting it be natural. So no strain in your breath, no real effort, just letting your body breathe itself. So breathing softness into the back of your body. Feeling the shoulder blades and the spine against the floor, back of the head. Feeling how heavy your pelvis is, and the big muscles of your legs softening against the floor. Letting the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet relax, jaw relaxed. Tongue is soft. Letting your eyelids close and be very soft, almost like the eyelids are just draped over your eyeballs. Your forehead is softening, no lines in your face. You're very still. And just feeling the good effects of your practice this evening. Just allowing anything that didn't serve you to release. Staying with the things that felt good for you, helpful, beneficial. And having a few last breaths there on your back. And then to come back to your seat, just do it very gently. Rolling onto your side, keeping your soft, relaxed body. Keep your eyes closed. Finding your long spine. And coming back to your breath in your seat. Just where we were at the beginning of class, so feeling the breath coming in and out of your lungs and feeling the belly and the rib cage move as the breath comes in and out. Don't be afraid to just let your belly go. Keeping this long spine, so you're lengthening up even as you're grounding. You could bring your hands together at your heart. You could pause for a moment and just bow your head to your own practice, your own inner guru, your higher self or your higher power. Namaste. Thank you so much and have a lovely evening. Thank you so much for supporting the Hatha Yoga Center.